on. Have you heard this term, haven't you, Eileen? Sharpen the saw. What's that about? And what's that got to do with continuing professional development?
So this concept of sharpening the saw and the phrase is probably best used from Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and it's his final habit. It's his 7th habit, and what he talks about says, if you've got kind of half an hour to saw down a tree, it's probably worth spending the first 5 minutes or so of that actually spending time to sharpen the saw, so when you actually go to do the job, you can do it more effectively. And it really says we spend an awful lot of time running and doing things and being really, really busy, and we don't take the time to actually properly prepare ourselves, and not just to initially kind of prepare ourselves, but keep us in kind of fighting fitness to be able to do our jobs on an ongoing basis.
Okay, great. So one of the things that we did, I think it's probably a couple of years ago now, we actually did a presentation, didn't we, about the
7 habits of highly effective PMO managers.
Indeed. And it's on Flashmob's website. So there might be other things that I, kind of share with you that there might be references to other things as well. So if you're interested in the book, of course, go ahead and buy that one. But have a look at the Flashmob website and just do a search in the search box there for habits, and it will pop up, and you can have a look at what were the things that we did. Going back a couple of years now. So in terms of coming back to continuing professional development, knowledge, skills and behaviours, what's all that about?
So, well, with the when we're developing ourselves to do a job, we often kind of talk about this term called competence, about have we got all of the kind of the capability enabled to do the role that's expected of us and the role we've got, and also thinking about the role that we might want to do in the next month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and kind of get us continuing on our career. So this concept of continuing professional development says it's about kind of preparing ourselves, as I say, for the next week, month, and our ongoing career. And the interesting bit about competence is actually addresses 3 different things. So the first thing it looks at is actually knowledge. So before you can actually kind of go and do something, one of the things you have to do is actually kind of know about it. And often we can kind of read lots of things to give us a kind of a general view of what that is, but that doesn't necessarily mean we can actually do it. So the example that's always given is if we want to learn how to drive a car, we can read all of even the driving manuals, we can read all about the car, but it's really until we develop the right kind of skills in terms of actually kind of practicing, do we actually feel as though we can drive that car effectively. So we can perhaps go and learn all about it's interesting in terms of we see some of the training that people do, and we say, we've done our Prince 2 course. Yes, doesn't necessarily mean we're a competent project manager. It means we have the knowledge to be able to apply that, but we need to have some time to develop those skills by putting it into practice, learning about kind of what goes right and what works, learning where things are not always appropriate in certain situations. So we need to be able to kind of develop those skills, and that regardless of how good and brilliant we are, skills take time to develop. Now, the interesting bit from a competence perspective is the 3rd dimension to that, which is behaviours. We often know lots of people who have the knowledge, they know all about something, they even have the skills to be able to do it, but the behaviours that they demonstrate don't always make it a successful outcome for them. And it's always kind of fascinating when you try to get somebody to kind of work with you or to kind of do something. We often not just have to try in terms of what we're doing, but we have to kind of speak and behave in certain ways. And we learn after a period of time that kind of perhaps doing things with a certain kind of mindset or with a certain way of working actually becomes far more effective than the other. So when we're talking about continuous professional development, we're actually talking about any of those 3 dimensions, expanding our capability to do our job and the job we want to do in the future.